For centuries, the Giza Plateau has guarded its secrets with a silent, sandy stoicism. The Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, these are monuments that have captivated explorers, historians, and dreamers for millennia. We thought we had a good handle on their story, a tale of powerful pharaohs, brilliant architects, and a civilization that rose from the banks of the Nile around 4,500 years ago. But what if that's only half the story? What if the greatest secrets of Giza aren't towering over the desert, but are instead buried deep beneath it? This is the electrifying question being asked today, 11th June 2025, as a new scientific discovery hints at something truly revolutionary. Imagine standing at the foot of the Great Pyramid, the sun beating down, feeling the immense weight of history. Now imagine that directly beneath your feet, far below the bedrock, lies another story. A story that might be thousands of years older. A team of researchers from Italy and Scotland have brought this incredible possibility to light. They didn't use shovels or brushes. Instead, they used cutting-edge technology to peer through the earth, sending invisible waves deep into the ground. What they claim to have found is shaking the very foundations of Egyptology, suggesting that the Giza we know is just the final chapter in a much, much longer saga. This isn't just about finding another tomb or a hidden chamber. This is different. The initial reports speak of vast, complex structures. We're talking about a potential network of tunnels, massive chambers, and deep shafts that could connect the familiar pyramids and the Sphinx in a way no one ever imagined. The sheer scale of these reported findings is staggering. It paints a picture not of a simple burial ground, but of a sprawling subterranean world. The very idea forces us to look at this iconic landscape with fresh eyes and ask a daring question: who or what could have built such a complex before the time of the pharaohs? The excitement is palpable, but it's mixed with a healthy dose of caution. Every discovery in Egypt comes with intense scrutiny, and this one is no different. The grand monuments of Giza have been studied for generations, their stones measured, and their inscriptions translated. To suggest that something so enormous has been lying undetected right under everyone's noses is a bold claim. It challenges long-held beliefs and pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible. The stage is set for a scientific showdown, a debate that could either fade into obscurity or fundamentally change our understanding of the ancient world forever. It's a true expedition into the unknown. So, how exactly do you find a potential lost city without digging a single hole? The answer lies in technology that sounds like it's straight out of a science fiction film: ground-penetrating radar, or GPR. Think of it as a highly advanced form of sonar, but for the Earth. The researchers sent radar pulses deep into the Giza Plateau, listening for the echoes that bounce back. Different materials, like solid rock, empty space, or man-made structures, reflect these waves differently. By analyzing these echoes, scientists can create a digital map of what lies unseen beneath the surface, revealing anomalies that just shouldn't be there naturally. And the anomalies they found are mind-boggling. The data suggests an intricate network of features far below the pyramids. Filippo Biondi, a radar expert from the University of Strathclyde, reported a striking similarity in the patterns found beneath the Menkaure and Khafra pyramids. The data points towards massive pillar-like structures and even spiral pathways descending into the darkness. They've identified what could be 8 enormous vertical shafts, each one located beneath a pyramid and plunging to a depth of over 2,000 feet. This isn't just a random cave system. The patterns suggest deliberate design and architectural planning on a colossal scale. The most astonishing part of this revelation is the estimated age of these buried formations. Based on their analysis, the research team has proposed a date that is hard to comprehend, approximately 38,000 years old. Let that sink in for a moment. The pyramids of Giza, the icons of ancient Egypt, are about 4,500 years old. If this dating is accurate, it means these underground structures predate the pharaohs by over 33,000 years. It suggests the existence of a highly sophisticated civilization thriving during the last ice age, a time when mainstream history tells us humans were largely hunter-gatherers, living in far simpler societies. This discovery paints a picture of a Giza we never knew existed, an ancient, sprawling complex that was already ancient history by the time Khufu commissioned his Great Pyramid. Could the famous pyramids have been built on a site that was already sacred? Were the pharaohs aware of what lay beneath their feet, building their own monuments as a tribute to a much older legacy? These are the questions that bubble to the surface when you look at the stark digital outlines of these radar scans. The data is just lines and colors on a screen for now, but it represents the potential for a complete rewriting of our oldest story. As you can imagine, a claim of this magnitude was never going to be accepted without a fight. The moment the news broke, the battle lines were drawn. On one side, you have the research team and a community of alternative theorists buzzing with excitement. They see this as the long-awaited proof that our history books are incomplete. They believe this isn't just a discovery, it's a validation of the idea that advanced civilizations have risen and fallen on this planet long before our recorded history begins. For them, the Giza underground complex is the smoking gun, the tangible evidence of a lost golden age. On the other side stands the establishment of mainstream Egyptology, armed with decades of peer-reviewed research and archaeological evidence. Prominent figures like Dr. Zahi Hawass, the former head of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, have been quick to voice their profound skepticism. They argue that the findings are scientifically unreliable and point out a critical flaw. The research has not yet been published in a peer-reviewed journal. This is a crucial step in the scientific process, where other experts get to scrutinize your methods and conclusions. Without that, they say, these are just sensational claims, not scientific facts. To support their extraordinary timeline, the researchers have connected their findings to some equally dramatic theories. One of the most prominent is the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. This theory suggests that around 12,800 years ago, a comet or asteroid struck the Earth, causing a global cataclysm of fire and flood that wiped out advanced civilizations, including the one they believe built the Giza underground complex. They point to geological evidence from sites in Syria and even reinterpretations of ancient Egyptian texts, like those at the Temple of Edfu, which speak of a catastrophic flood and a lost race of eldest ones. This is where the debate gets really heated. Critics argue that linking the radar data to a cosmic impact is stacking one unproven theory on top of another. They demand physical evidence. Show us a pot, a tool, an inscription from this 38,000-year-old civilization, they say, until an excavation is permitted and brings a tangible artifact to the surface. The skeptics will view these underground shapes as nothing more than natural geological formations, or even just errors in the data. It's a classic standoff advanced technological data versus the demand for cold, hard proof you can hold in your hand. So where does this leave us? We are standing at a fascinating crossroads in our quest to understand the past. On one path, we continue with the established timeline of human history, a story painstakingly built over 200 years of archaeology. It's a story that makes sense, is backed by evidence, and has served us well. On the other path, there is a radical new possibility, a phantom civilization hinted at by blips on a radar screen. If this discovery is proven true, it doesn't just add a new chapter to our history books. It forces us to throw the entire book out and start again from page 1. The implications would be profound. It would mean that a sophisticated culture with knowledge of engineering and architecture existed tens of thousands of years before the rise of Sumeria, Egypt, and the Indus Valley. It would challenge our entire understanding of human development. How did they achieve this? What happened to them? Did they leave behind other traces that we have misinterpreted or overlooked? The discovery would open up 1,000 new questions and launch a new era of exploration, sending us searching for clues to this primordial civilization all over the globe. However, we must temper our excitement with a dose of reality. As of today, these structures remain unverified. The radar data is compelling, but it is not definitive proof. The next and most critical step is physical verification. This would require permission from the Egyptian authorities to conduct further, more detailed surveys, and ultimately, to excavate. This is no small task. The Giza Plateau is a protected UNESCO World Heritage Site, and any intrusive work would have to be approached with extreme care. The world will be watching to see if permission is granted to chase these digital ghosts. Ultimately, this is what exploration is all about. It's about pushing boundaries, asking uncomfortable questions, and challenging what we think we know. Whether this discovery turns out to be a paradigm-shifting revelation, or a fascinating but unproven footnote in history, it has already succeeded in one thing. It has rekindled our sense of wonder. It reminds us that there are still great mysteries buried beneath our feet, and that the story of humanity might be far older, stranger, and more magnificent than we have ever dared to imagine. The sands of Giza have a new secret, and the world waits to see if it will ever be told.